guys, welcome to VLTV. Our guest tonight is a world-renowned computer scientist, activist, business leader, and cryptocurrency evangelist. His career spans nearly the entire history of computing, with our guest working for industry giants like Xerox, NASA, Univac, and Lockheed Martin. In 1987, he founded McAfee Antivirus. And under his leadership, the company executed a meteoric rise to the top of the computer security industry. Always at the cutting edge, he now applies his passion, energy, and vision to evangelizing blockchain and cryptocurrency adoption. Speaking to a massive audience, his tweets have earned the reputation of moving entire markets. He uses this reach to encourage individuals to look beyond investing at all of the positive social change made possible by the blockchain. A lifelong advocate of personal freedom, our guest has been a vocal critic of privacy invasion and encryption backdoors. And we have him in person here tonight. Welcome to our show, the one and only John McAfee.
Great to have you, Mr.
Good God, that was so formal and professional. I think you left out I'm also a specialist in navigating jails and prisons in third world countries around the world.
Tell us about that
let's
part.
talk about that a little bit. What's your life been like, John?
Recently, or
yeah, recently.
Yes, recently is the talk of the town.
Yeah, everybody knows.
I'll tell the story, and you can infer what you want from it.
Okay.
Our latest adventure actually began in January when I was alerted by my lawyers that the IRS had convened a grand jury, or was convening one on the 22nd of January. I'm running for president. I'm very outspoken. I know why they convened. It had nothing to do with my failure to pay taxes, because believe it or not, that's not a crime.
Right.
Not filing a tax return is not a crime. I haven't filed one for 8 years. I've paid them, close to $100 million over the years. I figure they're okay with me not paying anymore. However, when I began talking about cryptocurrency and how cryptocurrency could be used to free the individual from financial control of banks, the government, and everything else that fiat currency controls, then the government started getting angry, making little warning noises here and there, following both Janice and I around. We can tell you stories that would curl your hair. In any case, so when they convened the grand jury, I decided simply not to play along. My wife and I and our entire staff left, grabbed our yacht in Miami, and sailed to the Bahamas. Now, I went there because the Bahamas has no income tax. Therefore, you cannot extradite a person from a country where you are charging them with a crime, which is not a crime in your country. They have no income tax. And by the way, the charges were not filing. They had trumped up a whole bunch of things, money laundering and so on, anything. If you're not paying taxes, they can make up whatever story they want. In any case, no income tax, no crime. Then 2.5 months ago, again, through the grapevine, through people in the know, the U.S. government approached the Bahamas with an extradition request that included all kinds of heinous activities, racketeering, money laundering, murder, seriously, on and on and on, crimes for which the government would have to extradite me. However, the plan was, when they picked me up and got me back to the States, drop all those ridiculous charges, and then stick me with something related to income taxes, simply enough to keep me behind bars, probably for the rest of my life, before I could even be tried. So in any case, we left the Bahamas, went to Cuba. Cuba was very welcoming to us. Loved Cuba, by the way. Very warm, friendly people, happy people, beautiful country. We heard about a week before we left that the U.S. government had approached the Cuban government, unofficially, since we don't have a consulate or an embassy there, about me and they might, the U.S. government might be friendlier toward the barricade that they had, the economic barricade, if they would give me up. Cuba, which does not particularly like the USA, instead called me in. Some police showed up in the morning with a piece of paper saying, "You must be here at 3 o'clock." So both Janice and I went, and very nice. They put us in a room with sofas and chairs and what have you, but it was in a jail facility, but very nice. A general came in, very polite, with his interpreter and staff, and said, "Mr. McAfee, we know you're a friend of Cuba, and we appreciate what you have done, but you have 72 hours to leave the country." So within 72 hours, we left. We went to the Dominican Republic. The Dominican Republic was waiting for us on the dock with soldiers under the alleged crime of bringing guns into the Dominican Republic. Well, all yachts have guns, and all yachts, when you come into a port, customs comes on, you declare the weapons. They do one of two things. They let you keep them on board and give you a piece of paper and warn you not to take them off, or they take them and give them back to you when you leave. The Bahamas let you keep them on board. Cuba takes them from you, gives them back when you leave. In the Dominican Republic, they let you keep them on board, but we were not allowed to talk to customs. It was the army and internal police of the company that stormed our boat. Okay, so now we could not declare the weapons because they wouldn't let us speak to customs.
Right.
And this is pretty illegal. After, we did some very soft jail time for 4 days in 2 different locations. After which they said, "Mr. McAfee, you and your wife have to go back to America," even though we didn't come into the country from America. They said, and I had a lawyer by then, and the lawyer said, "Well, why?" I said, "It is very, very complicated, but Mr. McAfee must go back to America." I pulled a British passport out of my pocket. I'm also a British citizen. I said, "I want to go home." Said, "I didn't come here from America. Britain is my home. Here's my citizenship. Are you trying to deport an American citizen to America?" There was chaos. Even after that, a half hour later, they said, "No, you have to go to America." So my lawyer filed a brief with the court saying, "We want the court to hear this case." Now, since the Dominican Republic does have a court system, they were now stymied. They couldn't go to court because it would be proven that they acted illegally. Right? It was just a cheap way to get me back to America without extradition, because extradition is a long, tedious process. In any case, the lawyer whispered in my ear, said, "I need 2 hours." So, and Janice was with me. She can verify this. I said, "Not a problem." I immediately fell over on my face, pretended to have a stroke. All right, so I ended up not to recognize anybody, not Janice, not my security, not all the people I'd been talking to. I scooted across the floor with my back to the wall and acted panic. They put me to the hospital. After 2 hours, my lawyers came back and said, "You need to act well now. They're going to send you to England." So that's my story.
So you're an actor too.
I do what I have to do.
Right?
I think everybody does. That's smart.
Sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
Yeah, but I acted so well that Janice wasn't sure whether I was really acting.
Yeah.
Yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm sure. Okay.
That's the story.
So you acted well, and then what happened then? Because this was...
Okay, the lawyer needed 2 hours to file a brief with the Dominican Republic court saying, "We want the court to hear this case. Mr. McAfee doesn't want to go. They're trying to send him." Well, once the court has to agree to it, I mean, the lawyer's coming, it's a valid question. Once the brief is filed, they can't send me anywhere. Do you understand? Because it has to go through the Dominican Republic court, and the court then decides whether to send me back or not. But they could not go through that procedure because the government had acted totally illegally.
Yes.
So if it went into court, then it would be a huge scandal for the government. So they had no choice but to say, all right, we'll send you to England.
And so you went, so you got to go to London.
So, yeah. So,
right, but now London's not a safe place for him because London or England is very close to America.
Yeah.
Right.
So we were in London for 15 hours. Some fans knew that I was in London. They contacted me, offered to be witnesses, and slept on the floor of the hotel because, for number one, it's a weekend. There's no official way they could come and collect me until the paperwork was done. I'm talking about the U.S. Any unofficial way could not happen if there were witnesses. So we have people sleeping on the floor in our hotel room all night to make sure that, you know, the CIA or Navy SEAL or somebody didn't sneak in and snatch me, because you cannot do that in front of witnesses. You understand?
So John, so at what point did you get on your yacht? And then I think a couple of weeks ago, you were tweeting that you're going to go dark for a few days because the CIA was after you, and you were on your yacht.
That was part of
Well, that was on the way to the Dominican Republic.
Okay, so that was
okay, because I knew the CIA I knew they were coming to Cuba to get me, because Cuba had flew me in saying, I'm sorry, we like you and everything, but you've got to leave. So that they could say to the U.S., you know, he left. You know, what do you want us to do? He's not here anymore.
So do you think the ultimate...
Extremely good to me, extremely good.
Oh, that's good. That's good to hear. So do you think the ultimate reason that the United States wants you back here is because of the tax thing? It's because you're talking about...
It has nothing to do with taxes. It has to do with my speaking about cryptocurrency. My telling people that privacy coins will allow them to avoid paying taxes, to avoid the prying eye of the U.S. government and of all financial institutions into something which should be very private, which is our financial transactions. Now, I don't know if you're aware, but I speak out about this at every single conference, on my Twitter account, at and to the news. I'm the most vocal proponent of privacy currency and distributed exchanges which cannot be shut down. I am a threat, not just to America, but to many governments around the world. So this is why taxes have nothing to do with it. It's just a ploy to shut me up. And it's something, oh, he hasn't paid taxes for 8 years, he must be doing something wrong. Let's charge him with something, put him in jail. He'll never get out because I can't get bail. I am indeed a flight risk. Look at me, I'm in flight. So you can't say I'm not a flight risk. So if you get me in jail, then that will shut me up. Well, I don't want to shut up.
So talking about privacy currencies,
which is avoid capture. I've been doing this my whole life.
Yeah, I know.
I apologize. As far as privacy currencies are concerned, so are you considering Bitcoin as a privacy currency?
Oh, absolutely not. No, it's the least. Listen.
Thank you.
If I send you a Bitcoin or half a Bitcoin or anything, or you send me one, I now have your wallet address. Yeah. I can look in your wallet. I can see where that money goes. I can see what comes in, goes out, how much you have, the totality. Same thing with Ethereum, every single ERC20 coin. Now, believe me, if your bank did that, if you had a plumber come and fix your sink and you cut him a check for $40 and he went to the bank and said, hi, I'd like to see what's in this bank account. How much is in there?
Right.
Really? Money? Well, when's the last time the deposit came in? Oh, really? How much? And from whom? Oh, I see. And please keep me informed every day about all the money that comes into and out of this account. Would you be a happy camper?
No.
Would you consider this privacy? Well, then this is what Bitcoin, Ethereum, and the majority of coins are. You can do an ether scan and find out everything. So no, sir, I do not consider it a privacy coin.
And I agree. So I want to get into that a little more. So explain to people, because I think a lot of people try to pair the two together.
They trust it.
Bitcoin is a privacy coin, and I know it's not. I think it's actually...
No, of course not. It's the least private of all coins. That doesn't mean it doesn't have value. Some people don't give a shit if everybody knows how much money they have and what they're doing with it. That's fine. Well, I'm not one of those people. I mean, coins like Monero, which is a major coin, impossible to trace that back to a person, a location, a transaction, nothing. You are completely anonymous and completely private. I think that's a fine coin. There are tons of them. Apollo, I think, is even superior. It's a newer privacy coin with far more stringent security measures that I don't think will ever be broken. So it's coins like this that will eventually rule the world if you're interested in privacy, which I think most people are. I mean, really, if you had the option of, well, I want to use this coin, even though the entire world can know entirely how much money I've got and what I do with it, or I will use Zcash, which Zcash is a privacy coin, good privacy, but very clunky in terms of using. You've got to be a techie to understand how to make that a privacy coin. But in any case, any one of these privacy coins, I think most people would prefer. And coins like Monero, I mean, the transaction times are faster than Bitcoin. There's a fine volume. You can get in and out whenever you want, and they're completely private. So ultimately, these coins will be the big winners.
Do you feel any currency needs to be backed up by something like gold or silver?
I think that, I mean, they're okay. These are called the stable coins, although most of them are anything other than stable in terms of price. I think the only stable coin worth its weight is DAI, D-A-I, and it runs on the Ethereum platform. And the smart contract aspects of this very complex and extraordinarily sophisticated and beautifully constructed, so that the price of that coin never varies more than 1% from the US dollar. If it goes up, the smart contracts start implementing a bunch of procedures which bring it back. If it goes down, the smart contracts start implementing a different set of procedures which brings it back. It is always within 1% of the dollar, and most of the time right on the dollar. Now, that's not gold, but it is at least a currency that has some known value and stability, at least for the present. So I think things that are backed by gold is really impossible. What do? You have to buy enough gold to support the currency. Well, no one has that. That's ridiculous. So it's more of a concept and a theory rather than a reality, although it does sound good. Gold-backed cryptocurrency, diamond-backed cryptocurrency, dollar-backed cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
But I think the only true stablecoin is DAI, DAI. And, I dabble in that all the time when I'm not ready to have a massive loss and don't care about a gain.
Okay, so there are certain cryptocurrencies that you would back or
back?
endorse, I guess, or the ones that
no more than what I've just done, explaining what is it you want to do. If you have medical problems or psychological problems, I would recommend buying Docademic because you get free medical and psychological help. That's one of the greatest of all coins in my mind. They changed the name to doc.com. They bought out doc.com as their website name. But let's say you come home and your spouse has left you and took the car and the dog and all the money and had been having an affair with a neighbor, and they ran off together to the Cayman Islands, whatever, and you have nothing. And you're down and you're standing on the San Francisco Bridge, and you think, oh, wait a minute, I do have this app, and you pull it out and you press. Okay, there's a red button and a blue button. Okay, the red button is I just cut off my hand. The blue button is I'm having serious mental problems. And a real psychologist instantly comes on, try it out, comes on and says, what's the problem, son? They say, oh, this is, well, tell you what, why don't you step off the bridge for a minute and let's just discuss this. You can always climb back on, whatever. Tell me that's not a serious failure. So if you are, and it's cheap, okay? Now, admittedly, what you give up for it is the information about what your problems are. But Jesus, That's what health insurance does. Please, everything. So, but nevertheless, it's instantaneous. Now, as far as medical help, a doctor, if you cut off your hand, he can't do much other than tell you instantly, wrap it with a tourniquet, do tight, get your ass to the hospital.
Yeah.
However, if you're not sure whether you broke your arm or what, you can say, what do you think? And he'll say, well, can you lift it this way? Can you do this? It's not broken, it's a sprain, not critical. Leave it till tomorrow, go get an x-ray or something, whichever. But try it out. Download this app, it's all fucking free. At least the first time it's free, and then you use the academic coins for all future health. So, I mean, even the first time free, like you said, if you're standing on a bridge, ready to throw yourself off, and you push a button, and instantly there's a psychologist going, "What's the problem?"
Yeah,
that's helpful. Anyway, so you have which coins. So I'm saying, what is your problem? And if you're prone to medical issues, find academic. If you're a privacy nut, get Monero or Apollo. If you want a specific function, get something based on Ethereum. Okay, because Ethereum has the smart contract capability. You can do anything on Ethereum. People say Ethereum is going to go away. How? There are 2,000 ERC tokens that are based on that platform. So no, it's not going to go away. So yeah, what is it you want? Do you want stability? But you want, let's say, many people aren't investing in it, but they want something that they don't have to carry a wallet around. It's on their phone. They can travel all over the world and go through all kinds of airport security and declare no money, because really there's no money. It's just, and then spend it wherever you go. But you need stability for that. Well, DAI, okay? It's the only truly stable coin out there, and it has a huge volume, 30 or 40 million dollars a day in volume, so you can get in and out easily. So no, I'm not promoting, I'm not backing. I'm just saying use your head and find out what it is that you're interested in. If you are interested in investing, well, let's look at the world around you. What are the most profitable institutions or companies in the world today? Well, this is companies like Merck and Bayer, the medical field, medicines, doctors, people that manufacture magnetic scanning and things. Good God, they're all billionaires, okay? So the same thing's going to happen in crypto. There are multiple medical tokens out there. Grab one and do that. Privacy, damn well, privacy is going to reach the forefront at some point. Yeah. Nobody wants the world knowing what their financials are. Well, great. Then privacy coins will have to reach the forefront. Grab Apollo, grab Monero, grab Zcash if you're technically aware. But no, I'm not promoting anything. I'm just explaining the crypto sphere and the landscape as it exists.
Have you ever considered creating your own cryptocurrency?
Absolutely, but I think that's over now that I am seriously on the run in a Faraday cage. So.
But you're not holed up. You're not holed up in the Faraday cage like there was a story saying.
What idiot would live in a Faraday cage? No, this is our communication center. Okay, here. Okay, you can. Let me just. No, don't move that. Don't move that. Oh, is it room?
You realize I'm joking because I had
all of the articles that are out there speculating everything.
Do we have? Anyway, we have an 8-channel scrambler.
Yeah.
That scrambles just in case something happens and the cage fails. The scrambler scrambles all communication except for Wi-Fi. It scrambles WiMAX, which is that a lot of people don't even know that WiMAX exists. It's a 35-mile radius Wi-Fi that the government is having manufacturers insert into their phones so that they can surreptitiously turn it on and listen to you from 30 miles away.
Wow.
Communication. So anyway, so it cancels the WiMAX, the telephone, LTE, GSM, everything except Wi-Fi. And the Wi-Fi, as I said, is a private network spanning multiple countries. It's not some public thing, so no one even knows that these IP addresses exist. So it would be difficult to find my ass in Genesis. as fine as it is.
Hey, John, what's gone wrong in America?
Ugh, that's going to be a
What's
long
gone
conversation.
wrong? What happened?
All right, that's a tricky question, and it's a very subtle question. I think two things: laziness and complacency. Um, Dwight Eisenhower, when he left office, warned us against something he called the military-industrial complex. What he was talking about is the industrial connection with the military, which really is the government in most cases, is it not? That has turned into, instead of the industrial part, building tanks and planes and everything else, and getting sweet contracts with the military and making arrangements and shaking hands and kickbacks and all of that crap, it's now companies like Google and Facebook and Twitter, the giants of the information industry. And instead of the kickbacks and this or that, it's the Justice Department sneakily going in and twisting arms, saying, we need to know what's actually happening with your user base. What are they really talking about? What if they're criminals? Well, so what? What if they are? I mean, every advance in technology has been accompanied by the use of that advance by criminals. Automobiles. When automobiles really blossomed into America in the 30s, what happened? A huge boom in bank robberies. Why? Getaway cars. Before that, you could rob a bank, but what are you going to do? Run out of town? Chase your ass? Hell no. You got a car sitting outside the bank with the engine running, a driver in it, run out of the bank, get in the car, and you're out of town. So bank robberies increased by a factor of 1,000. Now, should we not have automobiles? Please God, no. The law enforcement's job is to deal with the results, not to anticipate the results and try to prevent them. Fuck me. Because by doing that, you bother and impede the American citizen. Okay, so basically it is the Justice Department that's gotten out of hand. They want to make their job easier. They want to be able to say, there will be no crime ever anywhere because we're watching everything. Well, I'm sorry, that ain't going to happen. It has never happened in the history of mankind, and crime has been with us since the first caveman stole a club from his friend or a stranger. It will always be with us. Same thing with the telephone. Do you realize that prior to the existence of the telephone, the mob in America was very limited and pretty much powerless? What happened with the telephone? They were able to coordinate things from New York to Los Angeles in a second. Right. And as a result, became a nationwide organization with compos, with structure. Okay, should we not have had telephones because that created the mob? Bullshit, no. Law enforcement must deal with it after it happens, not anticipate it before. You know, they made a movie of this called Thought Crime. It was with Tom Cruise or somebody, where they anticipated, you're going to do a crime, so we're going to arrest you.
Yep.
That's where we're headed if you don't stop this, people.
Absolutely.
You need to understand that when they say you have to give up a little freedom to get security, you're not going to get either one. The more freedom you give up, the less secure you become. This is an absolute fact.
Yeah.
But
That's
people don't want to buy that. That's easier to swallow the propaganda that the Justice Department, through media agencies and the rest of the government, say, oh, you need this. We need to stop it. No, can't anticipate it and stop it before. Wait till it fucking happens and then deal with it. Please God. This is what life has always been. Because what we are doing is crippling ourselves by accepting these restrictions. And you see it happening now with Facebook and WhatsApp, saying you have to go as a backdoor into your encryption. We need to weaken it so that we can watch what people do. Who gets hurt? We do. We lose our privacy. And do you understand what privacy really is? Most people do not. You have probably never noticed that 100 or more times a day, you and every human being exercises consciously a privacy decision. When you're at the checkout stand and you're buying groceries, do you tell that clerk your entire life history? No, it is restricted to nice weather today. Price of tomatoes went up. What's the problem? Or how are you doing? To get over that cold? That's it. Thank you. Goodbye. For a casual acquaintance, what might you say? Hey, my name's John McAfee, and I work down just down the street. You know, live over here. Oh, really? Good. To a close friend, Jesus, Bob, you're not going to believe this. I got drunk and wrecked the car the other night, and I haven't told my wife about it. All right? To your wife or to your spouse, you might tell everything, or maybe not everything. If you're having an affair with a neighbor, you might not divulge that to your parents. So every single relationship in your life, your boss, your co-workers, and each and every one, based on your level of trust for that person, you exercise privacy. And do you know why? Because if we did not have that right, we would have chaos in the streets. We are all individual, different people. We're a mixed bag. We love and we are gracious and generous. We have hopes and dreams. We're also angry and vicious. We are jealous and fearful. Now, as long as we are that, we cannot divulge the truth of ourselves to everyone. If you're a Christian next door to a Muslim and you don't know it, you suddenly find out and you're a Christian zealot, well, the Muslim guy has a problem. If we all knew everything about everybody, we would annihilate each other.
Yeah.
This is the truth of humanity. And when the Justice Department says, well, we need to dig into that and loosen that, you are loosening the fabric of society. And if you do not have privacy, I promise you, you will never have freedom. Because freedom is based also on that choice and decision of what should or should not be divulged in any circumstance. And if you have some agency watching everything, then good God, it is satanic in origin. Does that make any sense?
Oh man, that made a lot of sense.
Absolutely.
You just blew my mind, because I agree with you 100%.
Yeah.
And by the way, we're big John McAfee fans, man, because we're all about freedom. So and we want to bring you out in a good light, not like some of these other people are doing. But
so based on all of that you just said, and then knowing that you're running for president in 2020, how are you linking the two? Because no other president talks about freedom and how that's being infringed upon.
Okay, well, first of all, I ran in 2016 on the Libertarian platform. I ran a rather conventional run, and I saw the ridiculousness of it in the Libertarian platform. But first of all, in 2016 and in 2020, there is no Libertarian who's going to be president. And in the debates, they were asking things like, Mr. McAfee, what will you do your first day in office? Until finally, on the last debate, I lost it. I said, please, can we not have a rational question? You know, I know, everybody standing on the stage with me knows we are not going to be the president. So why are you asking me what I'm going to do my first day in office? And here's the real problem. Nobody knows anything. What do you really know about immigration, about the Middle East? All you know is what the CIA and the covert agencies wish to tell the staff, the president, the army, from which they garner, we can release this much or not that much, is then given to the press in a way that the press can easily assimilate it, write it, or video it and put it out. How much of that is true now after this entire process? We don't know. You ask me what I'm going to do about immigration? I have no fucking clue. I don't know anything about it other than what the press tells me. Do you know any more than me? Because if you do, please God, sit down and tell me. We are all in the dark. So I'm not campaigning against Trump or against a Democratic candidate or against my fellow libertarians. I'm not campaigning against immigration or for. No, I'm campaigning to break down this fucking veil between the people and the government that we elected to serve us.
Yeah.
And do you realize in 1776, if anybody in the US government said, no, this is private, but we want to dig into your life, well, they would have been shot on sight because the government was transparent and the individual's life was fully secured and private. What's happened? Our lives are now open for examination, and our government is locked down and blacked out from us. This is what I am running against. This is my enemy. My enemy is not Trump, not the Republicans, not the Democrats. No, it's this system. Now, the system may have been tainted by this two-party system, which has evolved over hundreds of years, and has divided America down the middle. Do you understand how opposing, how people either hate Trump or they love Trump?
Yeah.
They hate the Democrats or they love the Democrats.
Yeah.
That division will destroy this country. A house divided against itself cannot stand.
That's
Good
right.
God, people see this. And this division is intensified by the garbage in the media, by the fact they have no true access to knowledge, to the truth of what's happening. Everything is filtered through the media. And where do they get their information about what's happening? Through the government. Where do they get their information? Through the CIA and the other 17 covert of this government that have their own fucking agenda.
Yeah.
You don't know the truth, people. The truth you do know is that you don't see it. You can't see it. The government has blocked you from it while opening your kimono for full view. This is the problem.
Exactly. So it's
They're making
the left
yeah.
wing and the right wing are still part of the same bird. That's what we
Yeah.
always talk
The
about too.
right-left paradigm.
Yes.
I'm tired of hearing about it. All it's doing is dividing this country. And John, I hear you talk about the world's slave masters. Who are the slave masters? Who are the not the government? There's people above the government that are the slave masters. Do you agree with that?
Well, they're not hidden people. They're not a shadow government. They're not some conspiracy theorists, aims, missions. For example, if you look at what politics is all about, there's so much on the news about the East, for example. What's happening in the Middle East and this and that. Does any of that touch your fucking lives, people? No.
No.
You're by this. And yet you are enthralled. You are absorbed by it. It is intentional. Who does it actually benefit? The corporations who will try to manipulate, with government assistance, political alliances, contracts, sessions, so that the American corporate structure benefits financially. This is what politics is all about, people. Why do you think it's about that rather than about the infestation of mosquitoes? Because that's real. Seriously. Things on the news and the people debate, fuck me, touch me. I don't think they touch either of you. They don't touch any American except here in the mind through the propaganda of the political process, saying this affects you. No, it's your slave masters who gain or lose in the story. And are they our slave masters? Ask yourself. The two of you know. You have your own thing. The majority of Americans wake up in the morning, 6, 7, shower, run downstairs, have breakfast, kiss their spouse goodbye, their children, hop in a car, commute from 10 minutes to an hour, hop out, spend 8 hours in a wind airless office with artificial light, run back down to the car, commute home up to an hour, just in time to eat dinner, kiss your spouse goodnight, and pass out. And you do how long? A year, 2, 40 fucking years? What is slavery? Do you realize your life is the most precious thing you have? And what's it consist of? Time. You're born, you're all going to die. I'm closer than most of you, so I know more than most of you the relevance and imminence of that moment. And before that happens, I want to live. I don't want to be a slave to a corporate structure that benefits from my labor while convincing me that the pittance that it gives me is great. It's a bonus. It's good stuff. You're getting ahead. Keep this up for 2 years, you'll get a promotion. You can buy a new car and keep up with the Joneses. No, this is the worst kind of slavery. It's the slavery of the mind.
Yeah. Right.
And you're wasting the most precious gift imaginable. Your time, your life. Good God, people, wake up.
Mm-hmm. Do you think it's too late for people to wake up, or do you see more people waking up?
Here's the issue. If I wake up one person, I've succeeded.
Right.
And if that person wakes up one. See, people go, well, what do we do? What do we do? Why don't you wake up first and then decide what to do? If we're in a movie theater and there's a fire, but the movie is so enthralling no one notices, do I have to have a fucking plan? No. Hey, dude, look, there's a fire. And he goes, oh my God. And we all wake each other up. What do? We run for the fucking exits. We don't have to have a plan. Let's see, before you wake anybody up, what's the plan? No.
Right.
Wake the fuck up and see the truth. And trust me, your heart and mind will know what to do. It will know what to do. I don't have to tell you. Just accept the truth of your situation in this nightmarish world that has evolved over the past 75 years.
It's a process, though. Don't you find that it's a process for people to wake up? I even feel like I went through the stages of grieving, like I bargained and I'm like, no, it can't happen. And then I was like, oh, it's happening, and then I felt like I couldn't do anything. And then eventually I accepted it and I knew and figured out the things that I could
because
do.
we all grow up thinking, we're supposed to, America, the greatest country in the world, and our government would never do us wrong. And so it's a big slap in the face. There's a huge awakening going on right now.
It's either a process or it's not. It depends on how you're awoken. Somebody throws your ass in prison and you lose everything. Yeah. You have a different attitude and you wake up pretty damn fast.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. I agree with that.
Yeah.
If you absorb and assimilate slowly, I don't know. I don't care how fast or slow, but please God, wake up, everybody. Wake up, America. If you do, wake up to your reality. Drop all the propaganda. Forget everything that you have learned from the media. Open your eyes and look the fuck around. That's all you got to do. I mean, how hard is that?
Well, I think that'll happen when people aren't so selfish, because most people are given just enough to get by and to be happy. And there's a lot of people out there that are suffering real bad, and people don't care about that as long as I'm happy and comfortable. Too, yeah. Okay. And guess what? Our comfortable really isn't that comfortable, because it's what you said. It's a rat race. We're getting up the same time every day. We're going through traffic. We're coming home. We're stressed out. We're getting into arguments. We're getting divorces. We're miserable. But this is what we think we should be doing. Yeah. And I agree with you. We're slaves to that system. Yes. 100%.
And I'm 2 in the morning, or 3 in the morning almost. I'm losing my voice. Let's have one more question.
Yeah.
Okay.
My last question. What would you like to accomplish in the next 5 years?
Well, first and foremost, I'd like to continue breathing when I wake up every morning, which at my age would be an accomplishment. I want to feel at the end that my children and grandchildren and everybody's children and grandchildren were somehow benefited by my life, my existence, my struggle. And I always struggled, not with the world, but struggled against injustice and corruption and suffering. You know, struggled against the innate nature of humanity, knowing that inside we are all loving people. Right. To know that my children, everybody's in America, will live in a better world. And that should be everybody's really. I mean, isn't it all about the children? I mean, seriously, but what else is there after you get to be an adult and you've done your thing and you've sown your oats and had your fun and partied? Doesn't mean you can't party anymore. But seriously, it's all about the children. Yeah. Good God.
Absolutely.
Remember when you were children and the world was infinite and mysterious, beautiful and fun, and you cried when you had to go to sleep because you didn't want to miss a second of life, right? And then something happened 75 years ago where the world turned sour. And that yearning for, I don't want to go to bed, life is too much fun, got beaten down into, you know what, I could accept a job working 40 hours a week for 40 fucking years, getting weekends off, and 2 or 3 weeks a year for no, that was the end of life. That was it. Wow. Anyway, thank you very much for having me on.
John, thank you so much for staying up so late, 3 o'clock. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry about that. But
Take care. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Awesome.
All right, thank you. And anytime you want me on, or Janice, listen, Janice, give me.
Janice, come on back and say thank you so much, Janice.
You're very welcome. Very welcome.
All right, and you guys get some sleep now. We appreciate your time.
Thank you so much for this interview, guys.
Of course, thank you. It was a great interview.
It was. You guys are great. You guys are great.
Safe.
Thank you so much.
God bless you both. Take care.
Good night.
Bye.